Contentious debate between families and the Robbinsdale School Board. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Julie Nelson. In the last 20 minutes, the board voted to close 3 schools: Robbinsdale Middle, Noble Elementary, and Soneson Elementary, along with its Educational Services building, as it works to consolidate to fix a $21 million budget deficit. Jennifer Hoff is live at that meeting that just wrapped up in the last few minutes. Jennifer?
Julie, you know I've covered a lot of these school board meetings, and this had to be one of the most emotional ones yet. Of those 3 schools that closed, they were all high-performing schools, specifically directed at special education students. The district maintains, though, that there are half as many students, if not less, that should be in there or that could be in there to fill those buildings to capacity. And while it's taken at least a year to get to this point, a lot of the critics in that meeting said all of this felt rushed. They asked the board to put a pause on it, but I just spoke to the superintendent and she said they are now working on a transition path forward.
Parents locked out in the cold before a meeting that had some heated moments.
Is that out of decorum? I'm off to a bad start. I'll start over, okay?
Let's start fresh.
Robbinsdale School Board listening to hours of public testimony over whether to close several schools, part of the superintendent's longtime vision to reimagine Ardale. She says will help the district succeed. After a steep decline in student enrollment, outdated buildings with millions in maintenance costs and leadership turnover, on top of an accounting error last year that led to a new $21 million deficit.
As parents and taxpayers, we did not create this financial crisis. So why are our families, our children, and our dedicated staff being forced to pay the price?
The district proposes closing a middle school, 4 elementary schools, and the Educational Services building, in part because they're only being partly used, and will, quote, balance efficiency, effectiveness, and equity.
The proposal before you is not neutral. It is not equitable. It is a choice, and it is a choice that places the greatest harm on the students with the least power.
Previous recommendations included downsizing transportation and larger class sizes, while historic layoffs have already happened.
When you close a school, you don't just close the building, you disrupt relationships, you fracture trust, and dismantle ecosystems that take.
Your time is up. Thank you.
This is a tough decision, and I think the public and everybody that has spoken here today has echoed the same. If we had our way as a district, I'm sure we will hold a pause, but I don't think we have the privilege or the time to do that right now.
An emotional path forward that leaves some parents feeling locked out of schools it loves.
You should know all of these 5 schools by heart by now.
So these schools will now close at the end of this school year, so spring of next year, and the students and the staff will consolidate into the 2 other buildings that the board did agree to keep open. And really, this is a relatively quick process, as you heard Director Wuto mention. They are under the watchful eye of the state right now. The district had to come up with a plan to prove that it was going to pay off this debt, and they had to do that, Julie, by the end of January. So there is a little bit of, I wouldn't say rush, but they certainly were on a timeline here. And come next week, there are now more listening sessions and more decisions that will have to be made to try to right-size that budget.
Just impossible decisions that they have to make, and certainly emotional ones too. Thank you, Jennifer.